I'm going to grab that just so I can see it. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Right, so this month's Run a Ramble podcast, I'm joined by a very special guest, Anji Andrews.
Hello.
Hello there, how are you?
I'm good, thank you very much for having me on the podcast.
Thanks for coming on.
It's
I
good.
know we've been talking a while to try and get you on, but you work like a trooper. And you're always busy, which is a good thing, I suppose.
Yeah, it is ridiculous at times because I don't like the idea of 9 to 5 is horrendous to me now. But I have a bit of a hectic lifestyle, but I wouldn't have it any other way.
Nah, well, you're here now.
I am.
I'm buzzing, by the way. We've got lots to talk about.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the kind of podcast where it's like, tell us your name, tell us your background, how did you start running?
Oh God, no.
Like, it's not going to be that kind of podcast.
It'd be so boring if we did that. Boring for me
I
as
think
well.
I'd lose people within the first, 10 seconds.
Yeah.
But anyways, I'm rambling on here, no pun intended. So, the running background, what can you say about the running background and how is it just where you are now as coaching? Yeah, there's
So I worked it out actually last week. I've been running for just over 9 years and it doesn't actually feel like that long because I don't think I really took it seriously till probably the first Great North Run year, which was 2011 for me. So it's still quite a long time. And I got my first my level 1 coaching qualification in 2012 and then took it from there. So I kind of look at me running in 3 different sections. So friends. So the one where I was always getting injured, the one where I was quite serious about my club running, and the one where I just chill now and I really enjoy my coaching instead. And that's not to say that I'm not still competitive, because I am, but yeah, definitely 3 sections of me running.
I've just said I'm not going to talk about how you started running with Libby.
Yeah, but that's what that was my potted history though, a very short version.
Yeah. But what you're doing now in terms of the coaching, the Team Enigma stuff, I've only been following it for I think over just about a year now, and it's great to see the development.
Yeah.
I.e. Neil, who I know quite well, because you've kind of touched him in the most politest sense possible, and he's just went and smashed what he wanted to do, which was a sub 90-minute run at the Southern Half Marathon.
Yeah.
Is it great to see where you started Team Enigma and where it is now in terms of examples for Neil?
Yeah, I mean, when it first started with Team Enigma, it was really just me putting it out. This sounds a bit but as a brand was really what I wanted to do as a brand. I wasn't really sure what I was going to do with it because at that point I only had a level 1 and there wasn't really a lot of high level stuff that I could do. And the confidence that I kind of lost through club coaching came back through, of all things, doing a Couch to 5k group that I did with Katie Bulmer-Cook.
Yeah.
And I used that was kind of a little platform for me to get my confidence back. I'd done a little bit of work on the Steve Cram training camps as a run leader, just working with groups, and within that, it just ignited something that I thought I'd lost. And that sounds really cheesy, but hopefully you'll get what I mean. And then from there, kind of self-funded to go and do what's now called the CERF, the Coaching, Run and Fitness Licence, which I completed last summer. Neil is just one example of someone who took it really seriously and was incredibly passionate, and in the nicest possible way was quite easy to mould, because he was aware that he had this goal, which was the sub 90, and that there was a lot of stuff in his running that he had to change, but he was willing to change it because the goal was that important to him.
He was hungry for it. You could tell.
Totally.
When I've been talking to him, you can tell when he's been recapping sessions with because we've got our own little group in WhatsApp, the Team TGS group.
Oh yeah, okay, right.
And you can tell when he talks about you and the coaching, he's loving it. It's a little fire's just gone off in his belly.
Yeah.
And you can sort of tell after each session he's honest. I like how honest
totally,
he is. He's if you enjoyed it, you didn't. Or if you enjoyed it, you enjoyed it. If you didn't, you didn't.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you didn't enjoy it, he took something away from it.
Always.
He's I went for for 7 miles, I struggled, but I maintained this. And is that what as a coach gives you that sort of satisfaction, to see someone who's so hungry to then do that?
And as well, not to put too fine a point on it, but somebody who just listens as well is quite refreshing, because with the best will in the world, I can write a training plan and I can give it to someone, but by osmosis you're never going to run your PB by looking at a training plan. You've got to do the work. And I've got a few examples, again, I'm not going to bore you with session details, but people who were doing the same things all the time. Like Neil won't mind us saying he used to just go out and run 8 miles. That was his staple, like, you know, beans on toast type session. He'd go and run 8 miles. And I was like, well, we need to change that. And I've met a few people like that where because they listen and they know that the change is going to be something that they're going to have to work on, it just falls into place. And, you know, Neil is one example. Another example, hopefully won't mind us saying, is my husband as well. Paul was very much like that when we first met, and his dream was always to run under 20 minutes. That was all for 5k was always what he dreamed of doing, and he's much quicker than that now. And a lot of that is, I'd love to take all the glory for that, but it's just been that subtle change in his training. And again, like Neil, he listens.
Yeah.
He's got no option because we live together, obviously.
I was going to say, he's going to say, he's pretty much, you can't really argue with that, can you?
No. But yeah, they're just examples. There's a lot more, I'm sure, but in the one-to-one stuff, when things are very goal-orientated, like Neil's was, like, I'd kind of had to say to Neil, look, this can't be your only... You know, you can't come away from this if you PB and be disappointed if it's not under 90 minutes. I knew he could do it deep down, but everybody knows, and you're a runner yourself, so you know on the day something can always go wrong.
Yeah.
And he had to have that kind of like a fallback, if you like, which was you know, the worst thing that could happen would be I'm going to get a PB.
Yeah.
And he ran 1:29. I was incredibly proud of him.
You could tell he was buzzing with it. And also, can I thank you for getting to do a park run, by the way? Because getting him to do a park run was like pulling teeth. Honestly, the lads were just like, are you going to do a park run? And he goes, no, I don't want to do it. And it's like, what's wrong with you?
I know. But can I just say as well, he's actually volunteered at parkrun as well.
I've seen him with the high vis.
So that's a double bonus, because he could have gone and just done his runs, and they were written on his plan that he had to do parkrun, and he had a set pace he was going to aim for and all that. And he could have easily just said, right, I'm done with parkrun. But he came and volunteered, and, you know, top marks to him for that, because not everyone does that.
Now he won't shut about it.
Yeah, good. Good.
He just wants to do parkrun. Thank God for that. So
you're welcome.
Thank you. Have you always wanted to be a coach in that respect?
Nah.
Just to wrap that up. No, really.
No, it was like a natural progression. So in my previous life, I used to be a teacher, and I think I taught straight out university for 10 years, and I think teaching gives you the background where, first of all, you're used to people not listening to you.
Yeah.
You're used to kind of like structuring things and making things progressive for people to learn. You've got to have a bit of authority about you, and all these things are like natural coaching things that I had because I'd taught for so long. And running was my escaping away from teaching, and then progressively, you know, went into coaching. But I never kind of sat down and went, right, I want to be, you know, a running coach at this level. I particularly didn't want to have my own business and didn't want to be self-employed, and everything I am now is what I didn't plan. But that's what I love about my life at the minute.
That's incredible. Like, I would never have thought, I wasn't expecting you to say no. I was expecting, I did a little bit, but no, that's
I think because I'd kind of done a bit of group leading within various running clubs that I'd been part of. And you know yourself, if there's something that you enjoy doing, it makes you really passionate about it. And coaching was definitely that for me, because I wasn't the quickest runner, but it didn't matter too much as well. No.
I tried coaching once. I didn't like it.
Yeah,
I didn't like it. It's very Marmite to me.
Yeah, don't get us wrong. There's people there's days that I have, and people I've dealt with where I don't want to be a coach, but I'm very much like either. But it is, like I say, I think you're dead right. You either love it or hate it, and it's just ingrained in me now.
There's a lot of people who are better at doing coaching than I was, and I kind of found that out quite quickly. Where it's like, you have to have a specific mindset and a specific knowledge of coaching. You can't just rock up and be like, run, jump, throw. Yeah. And that's pretty much what I was doing. Yeah. And I got not tired of it really quickly, but I felt out my depth. Right. And that kind of hit us a little bit confidence-wise, and I thought,
that makes it not enjoyable, and I just think life's too short to do something that you don't enjoy, hence why I'm not a teacher anymore.
Yeah. But look what you're doing now, though.
I know,
so on top of that, I think a topic here is which I'm trying to differ from the podcasts that I try and listen to, really, is trying to be a bit more, not aggressive, but like quite honest with topics.
Can't imagine you being aggressive.
Me? No.
Aggressive with topics, I like that though.
Yeah, like Colin, who I spoke to at the start of the week, he was very honest with when I started talking about like why did Big Pink Dress and why does Great North Run and why does these events, and it did get deep. tears were almost shed.
Okay,
right?
I'm warned.
Right, I'm not going to get that deep.
Okay, good. I'm quite emotional, so
it's the fact that, like, when you see people want to start running, there's some places where they do encourage it, like Team Enigma running groups. Some places are, unless you run a specific time, they're not interested. I'm trying to be careful what I say.
Yeah.
Because I've been involved with those kind of groups.
Haven't we all?
Yeah. It's how do you kind of, if you're looking for someone to join the group, how do you do that to also encourage them to say, look, you don't have to be quick.
Yeah.
You can be this pace, this speed, and you will enjoy running. How do you get them to encourage to do that?
Well, first of all, I can't make anyone like running. And
No.
I do kind of set that as a disclaimer, because I do get people come to us and go, I really want to come to your group because I hate running and I want to be switched on. And I'm like, okay, you know, I'm good at my job, I know that, but I can't change your personality. And I do think running, if you don't like it, you know, go swimming, get a bike, do something else. Like, I can't... My qualification is a good qualification, but I can't make someone like running. But I think what's always fed back to me, which I'm really proud of, is the sessions that I do, whether it's with Team Enigma or whether I've done a project called Start Me Up, which I've done with Events of the North. And when we did Start Me Up, my thing was like, I want to get people who are complete beginners, who've got a passion for it, or people who've become injured and lost their way a little bit and want to get back into running because they've lost their confidence. And through having these channels of like beginners and, you know, people like you who've got a bit of a background experience in running, was that I had to set sessions that everyone was able to do. Yeah. So not as simple as like, right, we're going to go out and tonight we're going to run 5k and we're going to pick up for like 10 lots of strides in the last mile, because that's going to switch off like 90% of people who come to my group. So what I try to do is, I'm a bit obsessive with running technique. I'm really into like assessing people's running technique and making these little minor changes to things. And you can do that within an hour session without going for a 5k run. Yeah. So yeah, I think to come back to what you said, I can't make people enjoy it, but I can kind of get a bit of happiness out of people's running by just breaking it down. And like a session I did the other week where they'd done like ladder drills, hill sprints, and they'd done an easy mile. By the end of the session, they had actually ran over 3 miles, and every single person was like, wow, I didn't feel like I'd ran that far
That's
tonight.
the kind of feeling that you want to be as a runner.
Totally, yeah.
Without
because anybody can, you know, anyone can put on a pair of headphones and go for a run and, you know, just run at an easy pace. Back to Neil and his 8 miles, that's what he was doing. But you're not going to really get any further with your running, and the first thing that happens if you keep doing the same thing all the time is you're just going to get bored. Yeah. And that goes for me as well. Like I'm pretty much self-coached. I do have a coach that I lean on for advice as well. Yeah. But I write my own sessions and I change them all the time. So that was a really waffly answer, and I'm sorry, but to get people to enjoy their running, I just break it right down and we do a lot of different things.
The only reason that I asked this question is because I'm going to tell you a bit of a story. Okay. And I'm not going to mention who, I'm not going to mention names because obviously I'm not that kind of person. Okay. Right. When I first started running, and I ran the Great North Run, that was through Luke, who he gives a bit of guidance and fair play to him. He's my coach now. He's a good one. I'm a nightmare at the minute because of my knee. Right. So after the Great North Run, I kind of got the bug and like, right, I want to take this more seriously. I want to join a group. So I put the feelers out for groups. I got told a couple of groups to try. I joined one group and they were very welcoming, but they were like, right, we're going to run 7 miles each session. And I was like, right, I'm getting it. Like, I literally got injured within the first couple of weeks because my knees weren't ready to take the load, and it wasn't like specific. And it's, you know, maybe they've probably learned from there. Then another group I joined, I got a little bit of criticism because I wasn't quick. Yeah. And I got left behind quite a lot. Yeah, which is a horrible feeling as well. What it annoyed us so much is it's probably petty. Is I went to the petrol shop and bought a packet of wine gums and walked. So they had to wait for us. Right. It's like, well, you know, why should I? Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm trying. I was only like, I was running just about 7 minute mileage, and they were running flat out. These guys were quick. God, if I could run a 1 mile at 7 minute mile at the minute, I'd be over the moon. It just got frustrated because I enjoyed the first session. I really enjoyed the session, and then I came back and. When I tried to talk to them, they were quite high on themselves. If that's a polite way possible, but I can see what you're doing, that's totally opposite.
Yeah,
Like
and it does, you know, I have got faster people as well. You know, the group that I have on a Thursday night, which is my regular kind of mixed ability group, I've got people who are running like under 40 minutes for 10k in that group, but equally I've got people who've only just completed their couch to 5k, and they're all doing the same session, they're just working at their own level.
Yeah.
I'm not saying every session's perfect, because obviously,
No.
you know, clearly that's never going to happen, but I would like to think that we don't leave people behind. So
That's a positive thing.
yeah.
I think I like that. And like when we're going back to when you said, if someone goes to you and says that 3 miles didn't feel like a 3 mile, I know that
Oh
feeling.
yeah, it's good feeling.
It's the best feeling ever.
Yeah.
You know you're in the right place, in the right
Uh-huh.
frame of mind if you can get it done.
Yeah.
God, we're going to sound so sour with these topics.
I love it though.
Mental health
Yeah.
is a biggie,
Mhm.
right? It's safe to say I think we've both had our shares of up and downs. I struggled back in 2015. Not many people know this. So I'm probably going to get bombarded with texts and phone calls when this goes out. Be like, what the
That's
hell?
Yeah.
2015 was hard, particularly during the summer, because I was living on my own. I had got a mint opportunity to go and train with Great British Weightlifting Squad.
Wow.
So I was living on my own for like 4 months, and I did struggle. And that affected my running and my head, and also a bit of work. It got to the point where I was trying to train for the Great North Run, and it showed in the Great North Run where I just didn't want to go out. And then when I did go out, I just couldn't be bothered.
Yeah.
How can, in terms of bad days and good days, 'cause obviously good days, if you struggle, you get out and you feel mint. How has running helped you get over the really rough days, and also sometimes even it might not be possible, the negative days as well?
Yeah. I'm kind of the opposite of that, because if I'm having a bad day, I get out and run more.
Yeah.
My running, if I look at, like, particularly when I've run fast, it's been through really challenging times, and I've achieved quite a lot when I've been under a lot of stress. When I lost my dad 2 years ago, and when he was first diagnosed with cancer was the Christmas of 2013, and I was living on my own at the time actually when that happened. And I mean, we've known each other for a while, and you know how close I am.
Yeah.
Still feel to my dad,
Yeah.
even though he's gone. And it was, I know cancer isn't a life sentence for everybody, but it kind of had that feel of like I was very much in despair, because I was living on my own, and you know, between us and the podcast listeners, I was probably drinking too much.
Yeah.
I went through a spell which is completely ridiculous of not being able to like sleep upstairs on my own. I used to sleep on my settee, and like my life was a bit of a mess, to be honest. And what I found was the one regular thing in my life was me running. And if you look back through my times over that period of my life, I was rapid.
Yeah.
Because I was going out and I was like running stressed. And I don't know about you, but if I'm stressed, I run quite quick.
Yeah.
And so that's one kind of time that really sticks out. My 5k was particularly good at that time. And then when I lost my dad, exactly the same thing. Not that I was quick, but I was doing a lot of miles, because I find, particularly in the job that I do, because I work in social media, everything that's stressful in my life is tied to my phone being in my hand. And if I go out running, I don't take my phone. So my kind of switch off from my life, if you like, is to put my phone down, going out for a run.
Yeah.
I'll put my phone in a pocket where I'm not going to look at it.
That's exactly what I do as
And
well.
it's a good feeling, because that I know that whatever's happening on that phone, I can deal with it after like 5 or 6 miles or 40 minutes or whatever I'm doing.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, like when my dad died, which was coming up to the anniversary in a couple of weeks actually, I'd gone, it all kind of happened quite suddenly, although he'd been ill for a while. We knew that things were kind of rapidly going downhill. And on the day of his birthday, which was the 7th of June, was his 65th birthday, he was told that he was going to die, that he was terminally ill, and then he was a bit like, oh, this is a great birthday present. And just as an example of like how I channeled that, I'd taken him to the hospital to be told this horrendous news. I came back completely in shock, and I was doing the monthly mile that night, and I'd sort of said to my dad, look, do you need us to stay with you? My mum, like, well, we'll kind of let this sink in. He was like, well, no, you've got a race. Like, he knew how important it was. So he sent me off to go and do the monthly mile, and I remember kind of getting in the car, going to the monthly mile, not really taking in what had happened, channeling everything into this mile, and I actually won that night.
Jeez.
And what I really love about, although it's like a sad memory as well, that was one of the nights where, occasionally you get medals for the monthly mile.
Yeah.
And the monthly mile winning medal has that date on. So although it's a horrible memory, I kind of like that I've got it on a medal as well. So like 7th of June 2016, I have on a medal, even though it was probably one of the worst days of my life. But then over the course of that week, my dad sadly died like 4 days after that. So I'd had the monthly mile, the Bladen race, again, ran really well. And then he died on the Saturday morning. And the first thing I did, which probably to a lot of people like in the street where he lived, we must have been thinking, what is this idiot doing? Because pretty much within half an hour of them taking his body away from the house, I had my trainers on and I was out for a run.
It's a coping mechanism.
Completely. But I think you get that because you're a runner.
Yeah.
But I bet there was some curtain twitchers like, it didn't take her long to get her trainers on. Totally.
People misconstrue different situations into like, they have no idea.
Nah. Exactly.
Their coping mechanism might be to drink, to go out on the lash, maybe to order a takeaway.
Yeah.
Whereas for us, if we're having a really, really, really shit day, it's going to be like, right, well, I'm going to get my trainers and I'm going to run as far as my legs will let us, or to the point where I feel I've beaten it out of us.
Yeah. But that's what I did, and it wouldn't have been particularly quick, but that really helped me, and I think because of that was kind of like the start of. I know you've met Ben Smith, and you know. I
wasn't taught about what he's been through because, thanks to you, I got to meet Ben, and it was incredible. But I never really knew his story, and it's like when you're reading his books, I'm still trying to like get through his book. Yeah.
You're best doing it like that and reading it in chunks because
that's what I'm doing. Like I sound really old for my age, but I'm like lying in bed reading a book with Emma.
Falling asleep.
And I'm like reading chunks, and like when he spoke, when he was giving us the talk, it was like, geez, like this guy's been through shit. And I could relate to him about the bullying because I've been there and done that. I've got the t-shirt, not me bullying someone, but I've been bullied because I'm good at sport. I'll tell you off the microphone what will happen, right? Honestly, it's ridiculous. But him with the running, his coping mechanism to like beat the demons of bullying, beat the demons of mental health issues.
Yeah, depression, everything. And I took the lead from that because I'd worked with Ben a few months before I lost my dad. I think it was actually about a month before I lost my dad. And I channeled everything into like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go and run a marathon with Ben Smith. Like, this is going to be how I'm going to get through like this horrendous shock, losing, yes, my dad, but like me pal as well, like one of my best friends. And so I'd ended up, channeling, going out and doing like ridiculously long runs and channeling that into doing Marathon 340 with Ben Smith. I ran in Leeds, and that was life changing for me because I did spend a lot of time with him that day. I got a little injury, I had a bit of a miserable time, but if I look back on that year, a lot of horrible things happened through, my dad being so ill and then the loss of my dad and various other things, but that run with Ben was the one positive thing, and Ben knows that, and we've gone on to be really good friends.
He's sound. He's the kind of person where I think I could like Colin.
Yeah.
Where you could just sit down, not even have a pint with him, just sit and just talk.
Oh, you could definitely have a pint with Ben as well. Like.
Well, he made a cameo on the video, didn't he? And I wasn't expecting it. Like I wasn't, you know what I mean? And you were, I think, did you were on for a curry afterwards? Or
yeah, I think that. Yeah, everyone was going for a meal, and you were just setting the camera up, and I saw him run over, and I thought Paul and I both went, oh, it's going to look amazing.
I was not like when I'm looking at the stats brilliant. On YouTube. That's all it's pointing, like all the peaks at him pointing up, and I thought, wait, do you not want to watch the rest of the video? But I think. The social media stuff, because obviously you work in social media, I work within social media as well, so I just kick your foot.
No, it's alright.
There is good and bad. It depends how far we can go with it.
Okay.
But I think this is what bothers me. Instagram is my big irk with running at the minute.
Yeah, same.
Because I think people are putting a lot of false photos out there. Not like to say this is like, I love the Transformation Tuesday ones. They're my highlight.
Okay.
Because people like saying I'm
They're
working hard.
They're my least favourite, but okay.
Carry on. I don't like the quotes.
Okay.
I like to see how someone's actually went, right, you've known you're in danger, you've done something about it.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what your takes on that in a minute.
Okay.
But then there's also the people who are like, I've ran 7 miles and didn't stop, but I'm trying to go with this. I ran 7 miles and didn't stop. I'm proud of myself, and then it's like a smile, but there's something that tells me that there's something deeper in there as well. Like
I just think, have I totally cut you off there?
No.
I think what bothers me about the types of posts that you're talking about is, and this is my big thing with Strava as well. I use Strava, but not a great fan because I think what's happening is like I called this data doping a few weeks ago at work.
Right.
Like data doping is in very simple terms, people are probably pausing their watch quite a lot on their sessions to make themselves look quicker.
Yeah.
And so everyone pauses their watches, and I'm queen of that. But I would like to think that I'm not pretending that I'm running like 4-minute miles, 5-minute miles, and I think that's what we're in danger of, is that people are sharing things that are not real.
Yeah.
That's
my biggest gripe as well.
That's my
right
point.
there.
And overly filtered photos
Yes.
is why I don't like Transformation Tuesday, because I think you're showing, obviously you're going to show your best because it's Instagram and you want people to see you a certain way, but is that going to impact my running? Definitely not.
No.
I don't care.
Doesn't want to make me put my trainers on and go.
No, and I think what we lose quite a lot, and again this is Strava, my irk with Strava, is that people are too bothered about what other people are doing.
Yeah.
And people like, he's going to get a big head, I'm going to come back to Neil. People like Neil, who have worked really hard and got a consistent approach to their training and got the result that they want, is because in the nicest possible way they've been selfish and they've focused on themselves.
Yeah.
Neil's not bothered about what I'm doing. I mean, firstly, it would be incredibly slow for him, but like he's focused on him. And I think the Strava, it's great for logging your training. I love it. I mean, I've like been out trying to get a Queen of the Mountain thing on my bike.
Yeah.
I didn't, by the way, this morning. But I love that. I love the challenge side of it. But if I was to start again and not use Strava, to be completely honest, I don't think I would miss it, because I think what happens is it gives people an extra way to be critical of what you're doing.
Yeah.
And let's face it, we don't need that.
No.
We really don't.
I think I'm right there with you in terms of if I deleted Strava, I only keep it just to keep my sessions.
Same.
Like it's an online diary.
Yeah.
I don't spend forever writing like 20 lines of like. I just
I hate
run
that.
with Charlie, done 5k at
Yeah.
so and so. It's just so Luke can see.
Yeah.
Because rather than send him a text saying this is what I've done and bombard him and have him lose.
Can I request
text.
though that there's more pictures of Charlie when you do that though, please?
Okay.
It's very important. that is when I would be looking at your Strava, because the rest of the time I probably wouldn't care what you've been doing.
I think I put not the recent one, the one before I did put a picture of Charlie. I think
I'll be going looking at that.
have a streak.
I will.
Through. Yeah. I should actually clear up. Like I don't judge people who can run 7 miles constantly without stopping. I just think when the way people say it.
Yeah, no, I get.
Do you know what I mean?
I totally get what you mean, and I think to just sum it all up, it just encourages people too much to compare themselves to other people.
That's what I mean.
End
like
up being miserable.
Maybe if like someone could run 7 miles non-stop, what happens if I'm the kind of person who can't even run 20 seconds out my front door?
Yeah.
If I'm watching that going, well,
they're making it look easy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. I didn't want to say like, you
I
could
get
run.
what you mean.
Yeah, it's just
I get it.
But there is good and bad. But I think the GIFs or GIFs or whatever you want to call it, highlight, and your getting the bin emoji is my favourite thing, because I think this now and then there'll be something that just like kicks you off, and it's just like if I see getting the bin, it's like love it. That's why I was saying like
it's my most used emoji.
It's the best one.
Most people have like the laughing face, don't they? Mine's the bin.
I think mine's like the raised hands.
Is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's the
I use that a lot.
It's the raised hands. Like if you because now and then you'll put a point like big out at the minute is non-transferable numbers. And I'll look, and I'll see you saying can't transfer it, and I'm like in my head, I'm
You're seeing the bin.
I'm seeing the bin, I'm seeing the raised hands.
Oh yeah, that is I think that's the job I do. I just can't. Don't get us started on that, because that would be an entire podcast
on its own. Maybe later on.
Can you imagine how boring that would be? It would just mean me ranting about why not to transfer your racing events. Don't do it, folks.
Honestly, I don't understand it. Anyways.
Yeah.
Right. We've just talked about social media, so I'm going to talk a bit about my events of the north.
Okay.
What's it like having Crammy to work with?
It's pretty cool. I'm not going to lie.
Do you know what I mean? If it was like at the Ben Smith thing.
Yeah.
Right. Do you know when your brain. When your mouth is like a million miles like ahead of your brain, did that with Crammy.
Yeah.
We're talking about. I wanted to be like. I wanted to strike a conversation. I didn't want to be that kind of person who's like, "Oh, can you send me a book and just stand this?" I wanted to talk to him, and I talked to him about it was London Marathon about Kipchoge and Mo, and we're talking, and I said, "Do you think Mo will ever beat Kipchoge?" And the minute that left my lips. Out of body experience, I wanted to give myself a slap and say, why on earth did you just say that? And I seen the look on his face to say,
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
Did he just say that?
But he's still engaged with you, I'm sure. He's very engaged.
He sound
with
like that's not the first time I've met Crammy. I think that's the third time I've met Crammy. One at Sunderland. That's when I first met you, actually.
Yeah, I think it was.
And the first time was when he did a talk with us at Sunderland Uni. And everyone was like, no one knew who he was.
Oh,
Right, and I'm like hands up going,
Yeah.
tell us about the world record,
Yeah.
tell us about Usain Bolt, tell us about Michael Johnson, what's it like being a
Yeah.
commentator? He must have thought like, who's this kid?
Yeah, my biggest fans, yeah. Yeah.
Like, you know, but what, it must be like wicked to have him in the office and stuff.
But I think, it'd be very easy for me to sit here and say, oh yeah, because he's an athletics legend, and I grew up near where he grew up, and my dad's from where he's from, and you've got all of these kind of northeast connections, and especially with his achievements in athletics are outstanding and still are to this day. But what I really admire Steve for, and I hope this doesn't come across like I'm worshipping him, but he just works bloody hard.
Yeah.
And I think it would be so easy for him to sit back, particularly with events of the North, and say, Kielder Marathon, stick my name on the bottom of that, that's fine, and then come and do nothing.
Yeah.
But this is my 4th cycle of the events, I think. So most years we have 4 events, 2 years we've had 5 events in that cycle as well.
Right.
And so I've worked a lot with him where we've both been really stressed and really tired and not slept and all of that. And it would be very easy for him, because it is stressful, to just say, stick my name on and I'm not coming. But I've been at events with him where, and this is not like, I'm not pretending here, he's literally been in a skip.
I've seen the picture.
5 o'clock at night, like tidying up bottles with his bare hands. And he really gets stuck in, and it can be, to the extent of like, I'm not going to lie, he does everyone's head in at times because he can get really stressed about things, but his passion for delivering the events in such a brilliantly organised way, and that's always the top feedback we get, and I know this because I do the social media, is that he wants the organisation to be shit hot, and it is. And that's what I take from, like, ask him how he got the world record. And if you work with him, you understand how he's got the world record. And it's because I imagine that what he's done is channeled what he did in athletics into what he's doing now. And his commentary is fantastic as well, but obviously I don't do that with him.
Yeah.
But working with him on Events of the North, I admire so much that, the hard work that he puts into it is outstanding.
You can tell. Well, I've ran, I think, actually, Sunderland 10k was my first Events of the North.
Right.
I'm doing Durham.
Oh, that is a good one.
And then I'm going to, depending on how this knee holds up, I'm gonna run with Peter Morley and do the Kielder off.
You'll love that. That's the best thing you'll ever do.
So yeah, I've been to Kielder. We've taken the dog. I've walked what I assumed was part of the course, and it was on a gorgeous sunny day. And when I walked it, I did a picture, I did a panoramic shot, and I tagged Peter saying, I kind of want to do this. So I know how hard it must be to like run events, because obviously being not in the background, but when I've seen you and Steve get involved on the day.
Yeah, so you've seen me like completely stressed with no sleep.
I've seen 2 different Anjis.
Yeah, everyone says that. I always put like an apology out to like my friends and family a few days before and say like, this weekend I'm sorry in advance. Because I do operate well on stress, but at the same time I don't sleep.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make us a nice person.
No.
But yeah, but Kielder is usually the best you'll see the team, because it's the last event in the cycle for us, and then we have most of the winter off.
Yeah.
And so it's a bit like get to the Sunday night after. We do 4 events over the weekend, as you know. 10k duathlon on the Saturday, half and full marathon on the Sunday, and as soon as that the gun goes for the marathon on the Sunday, we all kind of go, that's that.
Yeah.
Especially when the finishers start coming in and we know that everything's gone to plan.
Everything's starting to kick up nicely though for it. Like this, like the interest, you notice the interest spikes year in, year out.
Kielder's becoming this kind of cult status thing, I think, because everyone, you look at the pictures and you go, it'll be a nice easy lap around a lake, and then you look at the elevation and you go, Jesus.
Yeah.
And it is one of those things where if you've done the Kielder Marathon, it's a bit like a badge of honour, and the half's becoming like that as well, because the half's only been going 3 years, I think. This will be the 3rd, I think.
Right.
Don't quote us on that. And when it all first started, it was a way in for people who they were probably a little bit, they wanted to do more than the 10k, but the marathon was a bit scary to them because they're not part of this kind of almost like a fell running community in a way, the trail running community. And there are people who've run it super quick, like, don't get me wrong, there's people who've done it quick, but there's people who take a long time over it because it is a tough course. And so Kielder is one of those races where we could probably double the amount of entries that we offer, but because of the location and getting people there and getting them parked, we have to put a cap on it.
It's the kind of race where I don't want to just be like, right, I'm going to run sub 2 hours for a half.
No, you can't.
I'd rather, like, I think the way that me and Peter have been talking about it is just going to be like, right, we've done the Great North, have a day out, take a couple of hours, just drink it all in.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I think this is his first Kielder. I don't quote me on that as well. I think it's his first.
My husband was actually the first person to have done all 4. So he did 1 year, he did 10k and the marathon, and the following year he did the duathlon and then the half. And because he's quick, when he finished the half marathon, he was officially the first person who had completed all 4. And he was in the top 20. So but if you asked him what his favourite was, he would definitely say the half.
Yeah.
He's going back for another shot at the marathon, but he definitely loves the half, and that's his favourite.
See, I'm not there with the marathon yet.
You will. It'll happen.
When I've done a video with Katie, she asked why about marathon. I'm like, I'm taking it with a pinch of salt at the minute. I've entered London, because everyone enters it just to see what happens. There'll be a time. It's on the bucket list.
Yeah, you will do.
There'll be a time when I just don't feel I'm there
yet. It's one of those things, though, like I said before, about running generally. If you don't want to do it, you're not going to enjoy it. Like exactly. I love like really long running, like feeling really broken and quite sadistic, like that kind of slow drain of like feeling like crap. I quite like that.
Yeah.
But it is an acquired thing, and I think if you don't want to do one, there's no rush. Plenty of time.
I want to wrap up with talking about Good Gym.
Okay.
Because you've
it's my baby.
It's your baby.
Yeah.
It's a fairly new concept.
Well, it is up here, but it's not
up here. I mean.
Yeah.
What is Good Gym?
So Good Gym is I'm going to put it very, very simplistically, because your listeners will be like, what on earth?
Yeah.
It is a running community that does good deeds. That is the simplest way of putting it. So it has been going for a number of years in the south. It has developed in that it's come further north, and Newcastle is, happily the furthest north. Good. It was the 42nd one to be launched out of all of the other areas, but most of them are in London and in the south. So there's 3 elements to Good Gym. There's group runs, which is what I manage and lead. There's coach runs, which is running isolated older people, them being your coach, and that they are your person that you go to. They're not qualified coaches, they're just people that inspire you to run. And then there's mission runs as well, which are one-off projects for either to benefit the community or, again, for an isolated older person. So it might be that you run to do someone's garden, or you run to move their furniture, or you run to move someone's bed because they need a hospital bed putting in. And so it is a wonderful thing because you're doing good deeds while getting fit at the same time.
That's good. It's a concept I quite like.
Yeah, it's simple, but it's
really
brilliant.
And it's open to anyone.
Yeah.
That it's not for the super quick or the super slow. I'm going to use quotation marks for that. You know what I mean? Like
great way to do all that.
Yeah. Anyone can just run, help out.
Mm-hmm.
I think is Charlotte.
Yeah.
Bless her. I want her as a guest on my podcast.
She'd be brilliant as a guest.
I think I've worked with her really briefly in the council. I don't know if you remember who I am, but I think when I spoke to you on Facebook, she beat me. Well, not beat me, but she beat. Well, yeah, I'm going to say she beat me to get in the VIP of the Great North Run. But the way she presents herself online and when she presents herself when I work with her, lovely girl. Mm-hmm. And she's involved with Good Gym as well.
Yeah, she is part of the group runs. So she comes along, and she's got a background in club running, and she just has struck me as someone who really likes to give back. Like at the start of every group session, I have to ask for a volunteer, someone who's going to backmark and remain at the back the whole session, and she's always really happy to do that, which I think shows the kind of person that she is. But yeah, all we ask for the group runs is that you can run for 15 minutes without stopping, and that's not to put people off, and it's not saying you have to run at 8-minute mile pace for 15 minutes. It's just because we within 90 minutes, which is the group run duration, we have to be somewhere for a certain time. Might be someone letting us into a building that stayed behind after work, and we have to have a certain amount of time spent on the task and then run back. So we do have to keep the timing really tight. So that's all we ask. And again, I'll repeat, it can be at any pace.
Yeah.
So as long as you can, you might want to stop and walk a little bit, and that's fine. But if you can keep up with us for 15 minutes, and you're more than welcome. Yeah.
So how can people get involved with this?
So if you go on the Good Gym website, which is just www.goodgym.org, and you put in your postcode, it'll bring up the Newcastle area. If you are in Newcastle, you might be further afield. It just takes you down a pathway of deciding what you want to get involved in. So it might be that you just want to do the one-to-one coach running. It might be that you just want to come and do the groups. And the good thing about Good Gym is that there's no pressure to remain involved. So you might want to come and look at the website at the runs that we've got coming up. We've got a range. We're working with homeless community shelters. We're working with the volunteer centre in town. We're doing a donation bag drop. There's lots of different things. And if you look ahead, there might just be one task that you want to get involved in. Just click on that, sign up, and it's completely free. So you don't have to, not like a regular running club, I think, where you feel like you've got to be there every week. You can just pick and choose. Don't get me wrong, we have got people who come every week because they just love it.
Yeah.
There's no obligation, is what I should say, to remain involved. But you've got that nice buzz of getting your run, we do a little fitness session on the way back, whether it's like pace work or a little circuit, or we play crazy games. You've got all that, but at the same time you're benefiting somebody else as well. So I described this on the phone the other day as being a selfish good deed, because you're doing a good deed for someone, but actually you're getting a huge kick for yourself as well, and your fitness is improving through it.
That's awesome. I'm going to leave like a website link in the show notes, and I'll put it on socials as well, because I think it's perfect. It's a good little concept to have up here.
Yeah.
It's different. I like different.
Yeah. I mean, when I first heard about it, it was like a year ago. It was on the Marathon Talk podcast.
Yeah.
And it was one of those like, I wish we had that up here moments. And then the next thing you know, there's the job advertised, and it was meant to be. And I'm very lucky that I was given the opportunity to lead it. So
well, I'm pretty sure you're going to smash it. So
it's going all right.
Well, yeah. Well, I think I might sign up as well.
Yeah, I mean, you just come and do one and just see what it's all about.
I'll do it.
Yeah,
I'll sign up. No, but that's not just a false promise that you hear people on like.
Yeah, I'm going to take pictures and prove that you are there.
Yeah, good. Document it.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to do. I think we're all out of topics.
Perfect.
Thank you very much for being on the podcast. I think it's been a good, honest podcast, which I want to try and do.
I didn't even cry.
No, you didn't.
I cry a lot, and I didn't cry, so.
Maybe
we should do it again.
Yeah. We're probably going to cry after the podcast finished now. No, thanks for the time, because I mean, we were going to try and film like in a cafe.
Yeah.
And then obviously there was like music and it was a bit busy. Then we found this lush little secluded spot in Newcastle Uni. We'll take pictures.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for taking the time out and just like sitting and talking to us.
You're very welcome. I wish you every success with the podcast.
Oh, thank you. Honestly, it means a lot. It's Colin and you. I have no idea who I'm going to have next. I've got a wish list.
Oh, see who I can hook you up with.
That'll be amazing. Right, I'll leave Angie's links as well for our socials. She is definitely worth following.
Just for the bin emoji.
Just for the bin emoji. I mean, even if you just follow her, see a bin emoji and then just go away, that's fine.